senior group class is entitled
Executive Order 9066.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
December 12th, 1941, 5 days after Pearl Harbor. Change. It's all I see. Curfews by 9 o'clock, house raids, and fear. So much fear. That night, Papa burned the flag he had brought with him from Hiroshima 35 years earlier. It was such a beautiful piece of material. I couldn't believe he was doing it. He burned a lot of papers, too. Documents, anything that might suggest he still had some connection with Japan. Jeannie, Wakatsuki, Houston. So much fear, and why? Why the discrimination? Why the hatred? Why the name-calling and vandalizing? Our businesses are failing, our fathers are taken, and our rights are stripped away. And all of this for what? For the safety of the country we came to, for safety ourselves? We are Americans.
And as Americans, it is our responsibility to protect our country. Now here are these Japanese, 100% loyal, but are they? How powerful is the tide of blood? How strong that of adoption? First Lieutenant Cornelius C. Smith, Jr. President Roosevelt, do not forget that once a Japanese, always a Japanese. I say, it is of vital importance that we get rid of every Japanese, whether here in Hawaii or on the Wielenga. They destroyed our naval vessels, murdered our soldiers and sailors, and blew to pieces the helpless women and children of Japan. Damn them! Let us get rid of them now.
I am for immediate removal of every Japanese on the West Coast to a point deep into the interior. Herd them up, pack them off, and give them an inside room in the Badlands. Let them be pinched, hurt, hungry, and dead against it. Personally, I hate the Japanese, and that goes for all of them. Colonist Henry McLemmers.
The decision's been made. Executive Order 9066
Has just been released. February 19th, 1942.
Mom has been worried sick. We're told we have to pack what we can carry, sell what we can't, and depart by bus.
We have no idea where we're going.
The second-hand dealers have been prowling around for weeks like wolves,
Offering humiliating prices for goods and furniture they know we'll have to sell sooner or later. Jeannie, Wakatsuki, Houston. What does this mean for us? Packing up our lives and just moving anywhere they tell us we need to go?
These are not the rights of an American. And Americans are who they are. They've lived here, they've grown here, they've played here. America is their home. And what is their home doing to them? Packing them up and shipping them up. My other neighbors don't feel the way I do. They say, you're an American. These Japanese are out to hurt us. They betrayed us. I know they are afraid, but is this the way to deal with fear? We've all heard where they're sending them. Assembly centers? More like race tracks and fairgrounds. The stalls have been whitewashed right over the manure, splattered on the walls. Quite a place to call home.
March 1942. The stall is about 10 by 20 feet and is empty except for 3 folded army packs lying on the floor. Dust, dirt, and wood chippings cover the linoleum that has been laid over the manure-covered boards. The smell of force hangs in the air, and the whitened corpses of many insects still cling to the hastily whitewashed walls. Yoshiko Ucheka. We've been here for weeks, and we finally began to adjust, but we've just been told that we'll be transferred once again to one of 10 relocation centers located in California, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, or Arkansas. Based off of our beautiful living conditions here, I'm sure our new home will be just as lavish.
August 12, 1942. On our first day of camp, we were given a rousing welcome by a thunderstorm. We felt as if we were standing in a giant sand mixing machine. The sand filled our mouths and nostrils and stung our hands and faces like 1,000 darting needles. At last, we staggered into our room, ghastly and blinded. Monica saw me.
Barbed wire fences, military guards watching our every move, a few cats, and a pot-bellied stove. No running water, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. One of the hardest things to endure were the communal latrines, with no partitions, and showers with no stalls. Rosie Petrucci.
March 1943. The wood was green, so half-inch cracks have opened in the walls. There's been a lot of wind and rain lately. You can imagine how comfortable these living conditions are for the sick, the aged, and the mother with small children. At least half seem to have small children. Folded iron cots with linked springs, no mattresses left. In Area A, the first to arrive received straw-filled bags. Have any of you ever slept on straw? We are faced with children ill with measles, whooping cough, chickenpox, diarrhea. The only place we have for care are birds with no heat, no stove, no water. Dr. Yoshi Tomasa. For me, it's a matter of 14 to 16 hours per day of struggle and frustration won't do us any good here. March 1944. We've been here for 2 years now. Most adults work $8 unskilled labor, $12 skilled, and $16 professional. Not much for a month's wages. With the support of the War Relocation Authority, churches, temples, schools, sports, and other recreational programs have been built up. It makes it almost seem like home. 30 people have been shot trying to escape. Almost like home. But there's one thing that keeps me going. I know many people are fighting for my rights by going to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Court is in session, December 18, 1944. Due to the Supreme Court ruling in favor of Mitsuye Endo in Endo versus the United States, the U.S. Supreme Court announces that whatever power the War Relocation Authority has to detain citizens of other classes, it has no authority to detain citizens who are loyal.
3 months later, crowds gathered in front of the White House, awaiting the announcement of Japan's surrender from President Harry S. Truman. It took 2 atomic bombs to bring Japan to her knees. But now Pearl Harbor was avenged, and the news triggered the greatest celebration the nation has ever known.
November 10, 1945. It's over. Finally. After 4 years, I can finally say I'm free. So much for the land of the free. I'm nervous to go back. Who knows what I'll come home to? I've heard scary stories. Houses have been burned, belongings stolen, and hatred. So much hatred. I'm so eager to forget this whole ordeal and to set myself to the task of rebuilding my life.
Life without rights is not a life indeed. August 10, 1988. The Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Civilians is reviewing the circumstances surrounding Executive Order 9066. Our report is as follows. The broad historical causes which shaped these decisions were race prejudice, war hysteria, and failure of political leadership. A grave injustice was done to American citizens and resident aliens of Japanese ancestry, who, without individual review or any evidence at all, were excluded, removed, and detained by the U.S. during World War II. Mr. President,
A monetary sum and words alone can never restore the lost years or erase the painful memories. Neither can they fully convey our nation's resolve to rectify injustice and uphold the rights of the individual. We can never fully right the wrongs of the past, but we can take a clear stand for justice and recognize the serious injustices that were done to the Japanese Americans during World War II. We can only take
Responsibility has finally been taken. November 8, 1990. 40 years later, and I have received an apology. The wrongdoings of stripping my rights away have finally been acknowledged. The past I will never forget, but to the future I can look forward. Finally, after so many years, I can truly say with confidence,
I am an American.
I